That's one great way to pack on a lot of calories really fast. Hi friends. So someone forwarded me this strawberry drink. Let's see how she makes it.
If you want to remove strawberry stems really quick, use a straw.
Okay, number one, that's a lot of strawberries wasted. Number two, you can actually eat the leaves. They're edible, right? So I personally oftentimes just eat the leaves, or if I wanted to remove the leaves, I just pluck out the leaves so I don't waste any strawberries. I mean, those things are like strawberries are so expensive. I wouldn't waste any of the material. Are strawberries. It's one of my all-time favorite berries. Honestly, I enjoy eating them more than blackberries. They taste sweeter, they're juicier, they just have this unique taste. So I have fresh strawberries all year round because I got together with a local farmer and he drops off boxes and boxes of strawberries for me every week. I mean, I live in Southern California, so yeah, we have sunny weather all year round. There's a few reasons for why I love strawberries, besides it being very low in sugar and calories. Number one, I'm looking for that red polyphenol phytonutrient colors, right? Those are what's going to nourish my body, nourish my gut microbiome, and decrease inflammation, help to mitigate pathogenic bacteria, reduce my blood sugar spikes if I, happen to eat things without any fiber like processed foods. And it's just all around been shown to reduce esophageal inflammation. So I love just allowing and enjoying and thinking about that strawberry just going down my esophagus, coating that to protecting it from the acid that keeps going back up because I'm eating a lot. I eat a lot of fibrous foods, right? Luckily, I don't have heartburn, but so many people do. And for people who have heartburn, I recommend they make strawberry a daily, meal. You can even eat the powdered stuff they sell at Trader Joe's, the dehydrated powder. In fact, the studies showed that those dehydrated, I think it's called really not dehydrated, but freeze-dried strawberries are the ones that actually they did studies with in people to show that it helped to reverse abnormal changes in the esophagus. So I eat strawberries with everything. If I can add strawberries to stuff, I would always add strawberries to all my food.
My son says that's why they're called strawberry.
Oh, that's really cute. Strawberries are also known as dirt berries because they grow so low to the ground.
I'm chopping up these strawberries and mixing them with sugar.
Don't add sugar, right? You just turn a whole food now into a processed food. You're processing it instead of like the manufacturer, but you're just, that's a lot of added sugar. And if you buy really good strawberries, you don't need to add sugar. If you think about it, everyone will get a blood sugar spike immediately after eating sugary or starchy foods.
The transient fall and rise of glucose spikes, is normal. Thankfully, a squishy mass of tissue called the pancreas releases insulin, which mops up the sugar and shoves it back into cells. And your blood glucose goes down. Let's not pathologize this normal physiology.
Starch breaks down to pure sugar. Wheat flour is a form of starch. So is cornstarch. And so is white rice. So if you want better blood sugars, then those items should really be minimized. It seems to me that sugar is misunderstood because people are eating an excess amount of sugary and starchy foods. And they're confusing excess consumption from adequate consumption. And some people believe you don't have to have carbohydrates to survive.
Your body doesn't actually need carbohydrates.
That's true. You don't have to have it to survive, but you do need it to thrive. However, you do need to consume the right types of carbohydrates. And if you wanted to add sugar, I would add date powder, right? Because date powder is actually a whole food. It's not like processed sugar. There's so many things with processed sugar, and I'm sure you know it. The number one is cavity. You're going to start getting a slimy film in your mouth because the sugar is going to be stuck to your teeth, and then the bacteria is going to eat that sugar and turn it into acid and then give you cavities, right? So I would really avoid that added sugar. Dicing it, I think it's fine, but avoid adding sugar.
Macerate them and make an iced strawberry matcha latte. Add the pureed strawberries.
Okay, I've tried that. I personally am not a fan of like fruit matcha teas. Tried adding strawberries to it. I don't really like the taste. I like my matcha, whole. And I guess it's not whole, powdered, just pure matcha as opposed to fruit infused matcha.
Cup with lots of ice. Then you can use any milk or even.
I do that. I put in milk, basically soy milk, to cut like the bitterness out the matcha. It does make it more palatable. But then the fruit doesn't really add anything. But of course, if you add fruit with the sugar, that's different, right? And I've weaned myself off of those boba teas, so I don't eat anything with added sugar like that anymore. That's one great way to pack on a lot of calories really fast. Oh, and it says, I guess it's called actually Starbucks strawberry matcha. I didn't even know that. I didn't know Starbucks had a strawberry matcha.
Then you can use any milk or even cream.
Yeah, I wouldn't put cream. I mean, when you add sugar and then you add like purified fat, you've basically now made a processed food time bomb. There's lots of people on the internet who say, don't worry about fat. I respectfully disagree. I don't go for fat-free items. These are not fat-free. There's fat in whole foods, right? You can't go zero. In nature, there's nothing that's natural that's zero fat. However, fat and sugar can't be processed at the same time. And your body does this on purpose. So sugar metabolism is a form of quick energy. And you need that in order to run away from a lion or a bear. But fat metabolism, that's a little bit slower energy, right? There's much more conversion to get into the biochemical pathway to make ATP. So when you need it quick, right, then you're going to turn off your reserves because you really don't want to tap into both energies. It's kind of like, you have a checking account, then you have a rainy day savings fund, right? You withdraw from your checking account, but if you withdraw from your savings fund, then you're going to be really have nothing to use, right? So this is the same thing that our body does. It's normally programmed to do that. So when there's a presence of fat, it tells the body you have a surplus of food, a surplus of energy. So now what we're going to do is we're going to slow down the quick energy, right? Because if you have all this surplus energy, why do you need so much quick energy? So saturated fat has been shown to do that. In fact, the more saturated fat you eat, the more fat you get inside your muscles, the more fat you get inside your pancreas. And it's been proven through MRI imaging that the more fat you have inside your pancreas, the more harmful that fat is to your pancreas, where then you can't secrete insulin to meet your glucose demands. At the same time, your muscles are your number one metabolic buffer. It buffers not only your sugar, but also your fat, and it's a source of water. So we have the ability to increase our muscle mass, and that is with exercise. The more we exercise, the bigger our muscle mass. But just like the specialty cows from Japan, where they have intramyocellular lipid, where they basically feed them, a certain ratio of nutrients to get that fat to accumulate in their muscle to create that, mouth feel where that muscle just kind of melts in your mouth as you eat it, right? That's what's happening to people when they see symptoms of insulin resistance, right? They're accumulating fat in the wrong places. And this is why it's important to change the quality of food and not just think of it as savory or sweet, but really you can enjoy either one. It's just mostly what type of food are you starting with? Are you starting with processed food? Are you starting with high saturated fat food? Or are you starting with good quality core foods? And that's how they sell you all these processed foods. 50,000 new products every year of processed foods. It's just a ratio of playing around with added sugar, added fat, right? The matcha by itself is so healthy. It's green tea. Green tea is rich in polyphenols that serve as prebiotics for good gut microbes. And this is why when you eat a food that despite not getting all the ingredients absorbed in your blood, they are still very powerful to change your body's inflammation and to reduce the oxidative stress. Now, green tea can be used as a mouthwash to kill plaque-forming bacteria. It can kill bugs that cause pimples and control fungus that cause athlete's foot. It is antimicrobial, but just like an antibiotic, it is selective and kills the bad guys while promoting the good guys like bifidobacteria. And in the bacterial world, just by inhibiting bad bacteria, the good ones like bifidobacteria will flourish. It's the same concept as getting rid of your weeds so that your lawn will grow better. Literally everything you eat will interact with your gut microbiome. And many of these bacteria, they grow every 15 minutes. So in 2 days, you can rapidly change your health, right? But once you start adding all these, excess purified inflammatory ingredients, you turn it from a healthy food into a less healthy food, right? That then it just makes your metabolism so different. For example, if you ate the matcha by itself, there's so many polyphenols in the matcha that helps you to lower your blood sugar and lower your weight. Number one is to add green tea to your morning routine. There's all different kinds of green tea. My favorite is jasmine green tea. But in 2020, I trained myself to drink matcha green tea, which is like eating green leaves. Now, I used to think that brilliant green matcha powder was artificial, but it's actually not. Green tea contains EGCG, epigalactocatechin gallate, a polyphenol that regulates your mitochondrial metabolism. The mitochondria is the defense hub and your battery for your entire cell. It neutralizes deadly and aging toxins made by oxidative stress, which drives high inflammation and accelerates aging. The mitochondria is what these lists of foods are activating to help you control your weight and blood sugar and your immunity. This is why I take a green tea extract daily, right? But then you add the cream, so you just spiked it up to a higher caloric food. And then you add the sugar, the granulated sugar, you just again spiked it up for more calories. The little matcha can't help you lose weight if all you're going to do is eat cream and sugar with that matcha, right? And so that's like one thing that defeats the purpose of drinking the matcha, number one. Number two, it has, beneficial antibacterial elements that helps reduce bacteria. Then it's kind of like you're going to leave sugar around and then you're going to spray Raid, right? Because the ants are going to come. The bugs are going to come to eat the sugar. If you put added sugar and then you're trying to decrease bacteria with the matcha, like that doesn't make any sense, right? Because matcha is supposed to help reduce bad bacteria, but then you're feeding it, counteracting what you're doing, okay? Not all food should be eaten together. You can eat that, and just know that it's a treat. It's basically dessert. And of course, it's going to be really tasty. But do you really want to eat that if you're having health struggles and metabolic issues? And if you're like a Starbucks fan and you go get this latte every day, that's what's going to happen. You're going to counteract the benefit of drinking tea with all the other added toxic ingredients. And so just keep that in mind when you're buying these drinks or you're making these drinks. It doesn't really matter whether Starbucks has made it or you're making it in your kitchen or your friend makes it beautiful like this and it tastes good. Good tasting food is not necessarily healthy. And if you want to learn really the great benefits of matcha and strawberries, watch the next video.